So, welcome to the new summer season of Gap Talk Show, bringing you the latest news from the advanced packaging industry.
Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter or visit our website at globaladvancedpackaging.net.
So, Gillian, another week here, and a lot of things happened this week. It's been a really busy week. But one story that caught my eye this week, and it's not a techie story, but it's an interesting one, and that is the announcement yesterday by the US banning all Chinese robotics. This ranges from humanoid robots to industrial robots, medical robots, and even household vacuum cleaners like a Roomba. So you may ask yourself, well, what has this got to do with advanced packaging? It's undoubtedly going to put a huge strain on US manufacturing, producing all the chips and other parts needed for this sector. And it also draws attention to where the red lines are now being drawn by the US government. They already ban, of course, military components and Chinese EVs. Now this extends to robotics. So where next? Interesting one, but that was the thing that caught my eye in the last 24 hours. What's been happening on your side?
Yeah, I mean, this was a really big week for advanced packaging R&D in the US. Speaking of the United States, GlobalFoundries, Multibeam, and Kepler Computing, all of them signed letters of intent with the US Commerce Department, totaling $874 million for advanced packaging R&D for the next generation of technology. Yeah, and these letters of intent were a really big story this past week. And if you look at where that money is really going, it tells you what you need to know about what's been stagnating AI. So, even though transistor scaling is still happening to a degree, advanced packaging has really been taking center stage for bringing us into the AI era. That's the crucial component for taking us to where we need to go.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, take GlobalFoundries for example. They're getting 300 million specifically for silicon photonics and co-packaged optics. Right now, data moving between AI processors and memory over traditional copper connections generates a lot of heat and eats up a ton of power. Even though co-packaged optics comes with its own set of challenges, it's proving to be the primary solution for solving these problems so that AI can scale.
Yeah, exactly. And then you look at Multibeam getting 140 million, and Multibeam specializes in multi-column electron beam lithography, and that
Mhm.
basically is just a fabrication technique that uses mini electron beams to write the microscopic circuit patterns without needing a really expensive physical photo mask. So that capability is a really big deal for chiplet integration because it cuts prototype turnaround times and it promises significant reductions in chip to chip power consumption. And then when you combine that with Kepler's 245 million for 3D ferroelectric memory, you can really see how this CHIPS Act allocation is really preparing the US for a post Moore's Law world.
Yeah, yeah. And like we touched on a few weeks ago, I mean, countries around the world are trying to build end-to-end supply chains for security purposes. And this is really just another layer to that.
Yeah, of course. And speaking of the US, Brewer Science, which is a specialized materials company based in Missouri, they announced their acquisition of Heraeus Epurio's semiconductor chemical business. And that was earlier this week. And in similar acquisition news, last week, Micron acquired AEMtec last week. So definitely moving forward on the acquisition side here in the US.
Yeah, there's been an awful lot of M&A activity. So both of these moves really highlight how consolidation is hitting the supply chain below the chip maker level. Brewer Science acquiring Heraeus Epurio gives them vertical integration over ultra-pure chemistries like photoacid generators. When you're dealing with advanced lithography and ultra-fine package features, a single impurity can ruin a whole wafer. So having those raw chemical inputs, should I say, under one roof should help a lot with promoting zero defect standards.
Yeah, absolutely. And Micross acquiring AMTec in Europe is all about expanding its optoelectronic and micro packaging capabilities. And as more sectors like aerospace and defense and others start to require complex 3D integration and photonics, companies like Brewer and like Micross are actively using that M&A strategy to secure their footprint here in the US and in Europe as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really shows that whether it's direct federal funding through the CHIPS Act or private M&A, the entire semiconductor ecosystem is striving to control the packaging layer. The more back-end capabilities you have, the better positioned you are for this next chapter of the industry.
Yeah, and like the US and Europe, India has also been making big moves to expand as well. So this past week, the India Semiconductor mission just laid the foundation stone for South India's very first OSAT. So this OSAT is for ASIP technologies. And yeah, speaking of India, they have really been expanding quickly. And with so many young people in their country, they also have a unique workforce advantage that most other countries don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm planning, of course, next month I'm going to be heading out to India and I'm going to be interviewing quite a few of these OSAT companies. But that facility is also a joint venture with APAC from South Korea, but it's part of a much wider wave across the country. Micron's $2.75 billion memory packaging plant at Tata Electronics OSAT facility are also key milestones for India's industry.
Yeah, and India also recently approved Semicon 2.0, which is backed by over $13 billion in funding. And this initiative, Semicon 2.0, is specifically targeting advanced packaging, 3D heterogeneous integration, and materials like substrates and specialty chemicals.
Right. Okay. It's a very intentional roadmap, and India is quickly establishing itself as a key semiconductor manufacturing region. In other news, Yole just released a new report on the competitive landscape for CMOS image sensors, which you can read about on our website.
And touching on the workforce development piece a bit more, IMAPS just enhanced its IMAPS Academy training courses, and those are available for purchase on the IMAPS site. And more information about those courses is also available on the GAP website.
Great. Okay. So that's it for this week. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe on YouTube. And remember to share this with your friends in the industry.
You can watch or listen to this episode and our future podcasts on YouTube, LinkedIn, Meta, X, and all your normal podcast locations like Apple and Spotify.
Okay. And that's it for until another week. Thank you and goodbye.